Welcome to the Helix Hour, brought to you in part by Design39 Media. Visit design39media.com for all your website, photography, and video production needs. Microphones for the Helix Hour are provided by Rode Microphones. Now, let's talk some Helix. Hey everyone, happy Wednesday evening to you all. A little bit of an improv and non-scheduled broadcast. Welcome to the Helix Hour. I had to think what show I was doing for the moment. That's the problem you have when you run 2 shows a week. It's a little mini Helix Hour. Hopefully it's going to be a Helix 35 minutes or a Helix 30 minutes or something of the nature. Will from Guitar News Network is here, everybody. He says hello all. So the reason what inspired this impromptu broadcast is I've been working back and forth with a friend, Brian Cazzell. I think he goes by the name of Coffee Drinker on the Line 6 Custom Tone forums, but a friend of mine. And he's been working on a really cool... He inspired me a long time ago when I first got the Helix. I downloaded a whole whack of patches. And you know what? Hang on a second. I'm going to just go to a temporary screen. I got my webcam pausing, so let's fix that right now. Bear with me for a second. Just 1 second. Let's see if we can do it. Be right back, okay? Give me 1 sec. All right, hopefully that's better. I hope so. How's the video sync? Am I okay? It's ever since I updated to Mac High Sierra, it's gone a little crazy. So Poison Ivy or anyone over in the chat, let me know if everything is okay with the video sync. I definitely don't want to. It's a problem on my end for sure, and I think it's the operating system. So anyways, what I was saying was I downloaded all these patches when I first got the Helix, and one of them was the Van Hagar, and that's one that's Brian wrote, Coffee Drinker, and I loved it because it had that real, detune, kind of pitch detuned effect, kind of the 5150, the album 5150 kind of sound, very, very thick. And then it could be modified easily to get like the balanced tone and things like that as well too. And okay, everyone's saying it looks like it's great. Okay, so that's good. So in other words, Eddie's patented pitch detune, where you're some negative a few cents on the left-hand side of the channel and positive, the opposite, whatever. If it's -7, it's +7 on the other side, that kind of thing. So that's what he was working with. And we've been both back and forth. We're trying to modify this thing like crazy. And he just actually sent me another patch just 15 minutes before going live tonight. And I haven't had a chance. I did load it into Helix, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But what I'm going to do, the patch I've run is basically using his patch. And okay, everything is good. I'm getting messages, so that's good. That's all good. So I'm running left and right wet with Helix, okay? And then I'm running, one of the cool things with Helix, it has so many routing capabilities. So I'm running left and right out of the 1/4 inch out of the Helix into my Presonus mixer, going off to you guys and girls. And then I've configured a secondary path, which I send out of there's 4 send and returns in the back of the Helix. I'm sending it out of the first send to my 100-watt 5150 back there. Okay, and 1 second before going any further. Now that I replugged in my webcam, I just have to turn off the autofocus because that drives me and probably you crazy. I will not broadcast with autofocus on. Let's fix that right now. Okay, that problem is solved. So you're not seeing one of these things like this. I hate that. Okay, so that's fixed. So, okay, everyone's saying hey, Futon's here as well too. So what you're going to hear is 5150 right dead center. I've got it mic'd with a Rode NT1 right on the cone, dead center. And I'm going to give you just that for a second, okay? So I'm going to give you just the 5150, which is right here. No, man, I spoiled it. Okay, here's just the 5150. So certainly not bad. Now you're hearing a little bit of string clack. That's my microphone here. So let's turn off this and just give you just a 5150. Okay, so nothing to complain about, right? Nothing to complain about. Let's give you a nice little power chord again. Now we're going to bring in true wet, true left, true wet and dry, wet left, dry center, ret what? I can't even, wet, effects left, effects right, dry down the center. And I mean dry, dry, dry. Now ready? We're going to roll in the Helix. What do you think of that? So totally wet, dry, wet. And now the thing is, if I want more dry or less, I like the Helix where it is. So I'm just going to roll the fader on the Presonus and bring in more or less of the 5150. I'm just going to try and hit a power chord and hold it. It's more 5150. I like a little less 5150. And then lead channel. What do you think of that? So that's the 5150, kind of at a comfortable level where I like it. So let's jump over and say hi to people in the chat, and I'm going to play some songs because the tone is really working very, very nice. I'll try to show you let me share the screen a little bit, okay? I'll show you what I've got. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so what I'm using for the amp, when Brian created this one, he was using the PV Panama, which is close. Let me just mute that microphone on the 5150. It's driving me crazy. Okay, it's a little bit better. It's loud in here as well, too. So he was using the PV Panama, which gives you the PV 5150 kind of sound, and he was using, I think probably, I'm not 100% sure, not 100% sure on the cabinet he was using, but I've changed it to an IR, and I don't even know what IR this is at the moment. It is a free one, and I can share it with people. It was Paul Heinmarsh sent it to me from some patches he wrote for my show when he came on the Helix Hour the first time. And I've just labeled it Heinmarsh 1, so that's how I can remember it. But I'd be happy. I'll just double check with him that it's a free one, which I think it is. He said, and if it is, then I will share it with you guys. So I changed the amp that he had on the PV Panama, which you can maybe see that where I've highlighted there, to the Placator amplifier, and then I've got the IR. He's got pitch to tunes on both sides, and he's got it set for -9 and +9. I hope that's +9 and -9. -9. Okay, yeah, -9 and +9. And that's right in the wheelhouse of Eddie's tone. If anybody wants to experiment with that with the detuning, even if you're running in a mono situation, obviously you're not going to hear full detune on a stereo spectrum in mono, but you can still use the negative, the sense. Either negative between -5 to -11 or +5 and +11. It'll give you that same kind of a chorus-like effect. If you can do it in stereo, then you're going to love it to death. But that's the only thing I've done different with his patch is I've changed it to the Placator amplifier. I've used an IR, impulse response, and I can give you an idea what it sounds like without an impulse response. Watch this. Okay, 1 second. Okay, that's strictly Helix you're hearing right now. So if I turn out, whoops, what did I do? I don't even know how I get back there. 1 second. Bear with me here. I hit something on the screen. All right, let's turn the impulse response off. It's going to go buzzy. See, that just fries your speakers. So you either need a cabinet block or you need the impulse response. Well, you need something there for sure. So I'm using the impulse response. So before I go through and do any demos of what I'm using there, actually, I guess you can go through the delays as well too. I've got 2 snapshots. Let's go back to the rhythm. And for people that are new to Helix, what snapshots are basically kind of like it's like almost like someone coming up with a Polaroid or digital camera taking a picture of your amp. Where you like to set it on one channel, and then they say, okay, give me a lead sound, and you only got 1 channel amplifier. So you'll change all your knobs, and you'll take a picture of it, right, on the new channel. Well, what Helix does is it remembers exactly those settings. So instead of putting masking tape on your amps like some of us used to do and say, okay, this is where I want my middle and all that kind of stuff, Helix will do that for you. So as you can see on my rhythm channel, I like to have a more of a quicker delay. So I have it set somewhere around 100 and something on the 160 on the left and 276, which was an odd number. So just a little bit of a slap back on either side. Now when I go over to my lead channel, if I click on that same delay, nothing's changed. My effects are there, but now my lead channel, left channel delay is 300 milliseconds and right channel is 600. So now I got this. Okay, so you're hearing a little bit more of a delay. And what I've also done too, if we click on the amp, this is the nice thing about snapshots. Watch this. I know people that know Helix, snapshots are nothing to you. You guys know this inside and out. But people that don't know anything about Helix, this is really cool. So back on my rhythm channel, watch the settings on the placator amplifier here. So I've got, that seems quite high on the drive for that. I don't know why that's up to 10 on the rhythm. Let's go over to lead. Okay. That should not be that high on the rhythm. So let's bring that back right now. Let's hold the option key. Actually, is it option, I think? Yes, I think it's option. All right, and I'm going to bring that back to, that's weird why that went that high. So I'm going to save a new setting for my rhythm channel. My drive is going to be around 6.5, we'll say. All right, let's just, oh no, that was in the lead channel. Hang on. Let's get out of there and come back in. I guess it helps if I pay attention. So yeah, my drive is 10 on the lead. But there it is. I'm on rhythm. That should not be that high. Okay, let's bring that down there and save it. Somewhere in there. Let's make sure I did that right. Okay, let's go back to lead, and that should be 10. Okay, something's goofy. What's going on? Okay, something's goofy. We're going to just save it anyways. Hopefully I haven't pulled the USB out. No, I wouldn't have. Okay, so let's go say hi to everybody in the chat first. Let's go back over here. There we go. It's better. All right. So we've got a bunch of people jumping in. We've got, obviously, I mentioned Will from Guitar News Network. Justin Gardy's here. Jim Lund's here. Quentin James is here. Obviously, coffee drinker himself, the fellow who started all these patches, Brian Cazzell. Jim Lund, Painkiller. Hey, Eric. Hey, guys. Futone, like I mentioned. Great to have you here, Adam. Speaking of Futone, fully Futone PV Wolfgang. Love this thing. I've been playing this. I haven't played this guitar in a while. This thing is smoking. Absolutely smoking. Everything stainless of Adam stuff, so works, and it works very, very well. Jared Frost, hey everyone, good to see you, Jared. Draw with Beekter is here. Painkiller sounds great. Jim Lund, Etsy, or easy for you to say. Sounds great, Jared says. That sounds like his rig. Yeah, right on, man. Fret01 sounds killer. That sound is huge. Gary Devlin's here, going to sell some stuff and get a Helix. Hey, nice to hear, man. Me too, Gary. Nice. Justin Gardy. That's from Painkiller. He says, Justin Gardy, same Gary. This is insane. If I had to get rid of my amplifiers, God forbid if I did, I could live playing the Helix for the rest of my life. But it does sound really, if you can have the best of both worlds, no pun intended. If you can have the Helix and your favorite tube amps, in my case, the 5150 series of amplifiers, it's beautiful. I could live without them. I don't want to live without them. And then when you mix them and match them, it's just amazing. Like what I've done with the HX effects, which is kind of a lot of the effects of Helix, but no modeling in it as far as amplifier modeling. I run that in a 4-cable method through the EVH 5150III lunchbox, the LBX2, and it just sounds absolutely beautiful. And I can actually even make that HX effect switch the channels on the 5150. So there is a lot of pluses to running them with your tube amps. And the Line 6 will tell you that they don't necessarily want you just to buy their product and it has to be their product. They want you to integrate it with your current rig. And it does play really nice with 5150s and Marshalls and your messes and all that kind of stuff. Sounds amazing, Eric. Brusbo, it's only 2 amps and nothing else. Yes, 2 amps and nothing else. Technically, a Line 6 modeled amplifier, modeled after It's a placator amplifier, and then the real 5150 behind me, the 100 watt, which is rather loud on the blue channel right now behind me. Jeff Alexander, hey buddy, talking to you a few days ago. It's nice to hear from you, and I hope you are well. Wishing you the best. And I still want to get involved in this chat if I can. You can. You chat away, man. You ask me any questions you want, and I'll do my best to answer. Justin Gardy says, anyone know when Wolfgang's album is supposed to be released? No idea. And I saw some people talking about it on Facebook today. It's one of those things where I think because he's doing everything himself, it's like a fine wine. It'll be released when it's opened, when it's time, right? And I'm not in any hurry for it. I mean, I'd love to have it tomorrow, but it'll be ready when it's ready. And I think it's going to be great. Just all those little snippets he's playing online. Amazing. I think that kid's going to be the next multi-instrumentalist hero. I was going to say guitar hero, but more than just that. Okay, so let's try playing with some songs here, Matt. Okay, now what you're hearing there is just strictly, see that with Helix? That's just strictly, that's too much Helix. And that's like, because it's heavy, wet, right? We want to have a little bit less than that. Painkiller says, I should sell my triple rectifier to get the Helix. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, maybe go through your closet and find some other junk and sell some other junk. Other than Mess is really nice. Don't get rid of that unless you absolutely want to. That's a beautiful amplifier. Find some other stuff to sell first, because you're always going to have a day come that you're going to want to plug into that amplifier still too, with and without Helix or any other effects. So don't get rid of the Mess for that. But, you know, who am I to say, right? Okay, so I'm going to minimize one screen over here on the PC. And let's go to a rhythm patch. Okay. And here again, too, some people are bored to death of hearing my band songs. Other people have heard them for the first time, and other people just happy in the middle. The only reason why I do that is I don't want to get copyright strikes on my videos. I own the songs. I own the copyright. No problems, right? Okay, so I'm going to try to load this one up. And I tell you, this guitar sings with Futone, F-U-tone. Sings better than stock by far. Okay, so bring the laptop up here. Let's see what we got for level. Windows 10, you gotta love it. It actually did. It did crash. That's okay. I broadcast from a Mac, and I do some extracurriculars with a PC. You guys are seeing... How did that sound? That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I messed up my own solo there a little bit too, but that was fun. The tone is very, very inspiring, and that patch tonight was what inspired me to go live. I wasn't planning on going live tonight, but I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Okay, we're going to drop her down into drop D. I'm going to play a really chunky one. We're going to get something like this going. One sec. Okay, we're going to turn. Do I have the delay on that one yet? We're going to add a tiny bit more 5150 for this one. I want a little bit more kind of growl, okay? All right, 1 second. So everyone's liking the sound. I'm going to bring it just a tiny bit more 5150 up. Wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay, so we're going to play a real song here. 1 second. Thank you, Laguna Palms. I appreciate that. That's very, very nice. Painkillers, the hells yeah. Rick Hefner is saying, whew, nice. Very nice. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Okay, here's a real fast, chunky one. Here goes. As long as Windows 10 doesn't crash again. How'd that one sound? Nice and chunky. I wasn't getting the exact harmonics I wanted on that one. That one's kind of hit or miss. You either hit those harmonics or you don't. But yeah, there we go. See, I'm getting them now. I find if you pull your hand off really fast and you hit those harmonics, okay, both hands, it's just got to get your hands away from the strings. Let me see. So that sounds badass. That's from Painkiller. I think I'm going to sell my 77 Greco Les Paul Black Beauty to get my hands on a Wolfgang for sure. Definitely good guitars. And this one hasn't been getting the love that it's deserved, so I pulled it off the rack, and was my main guitar for my entire touring career. Bruce is here saying, hello, Eric. That sounded great. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. And that was Hot from Painkiller. We're going to keep some songs going. We're going to stay in the key of D since we're down here. And again, I'm just kind of demonstrating what the Helix can do for you as far as inspiration, ease of use. It's just it's another tool in the musician's toolkit. But I could potentially, if I wanted to go play a gig tonight, if someone called me up and said, Eric, can you fill in for a guitar player? I could show up with the one guitar, maybe a couple guitars, but one guitar and a Helix run to the front of the house, and I would be all set. What you're hearing, technically, I could do that in the club, no problem. And sound technicians are loving it. So let's go to a slightly older record. Let's go back a little bit, and let's play a song called Silence. It's nice and funky. No, it's not funky. It's fun. Okay, it's kind of cool. Check it out. Here we go. All right, Silence. Sounds killer. Bularf is here. Bularf sounds killer. Right? Thank you. Appreciate that immensely. Bresbo, Painkiller, I'm selling his house. Don't sell any houses for gear, man. Don't do that. You can sell gear to get a house, but don't sell a house to get gear. Gear will always be there waiting for you. It will. Here we go. Did someone say sustain? I like that. You guys are commenting. I like those open chords and you're hitting it. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You see how much fun? I really hope this is contagious for you. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. Like, I'm giggling like a little kid in here. It's just fun. Thank you, Coffee Drinker. Brian, that is a really cool song. He says, that's the title track, Silence. It's a fun song to play. But I'm going to start next week, Painkiller. Cool. And Brespo says, I know I'm just afraid to buy something else I'm afraid won't work for me. Yeah, that's the thing. If I'm going to be honest with you, let me turn off this 5150 mic. One sec. It's really loud in here. That 100 watt back there is very loud. That's why you're getting that in the room buzzing. Because it works for me, may not work for you, and that works with anything, right? But I have to say that I was a guy who was as far against, on the far opposite side of digital modeling stuff that you could ever be. I did not want to embrace it. I didn't want to go anywhere near it. And I got to give credit where credit's due. I was using Positive Grid, and I still use it from time to time as well, too. The bias software, very, very good. And it got me inspired to embrace modeling technology. And then when Line 6 came around, it was totally by accident. Totally by accident. It was a fluke, but it's the best thing that's ever happened to me as a guitar player in my life. It's opened my eyes to different things that I would never, necessarily explore. But not all gear is necessarily for you. So my words are just comments and opinions. They're not the end-all, be-all by any means. But try one. Go to a music store and try one. Look for a used one if you can. Places like Sweetwater and places like that usually have financing deals. Pay every month, not too bad. We've all done that before. And it's not so much of a big hit out of your bank account. It's worth looking into. Maybe trade a guitar or something that you may not be playing. I know it's really hard to do. There you go. Rick Hefner says most stores like Guitar Center give you time to try it and then return it if you don't like it. That's true as well. Bresbo just paid $2,800 for a Dirty Shirley. Yeah, they can be expensive. Quentin James, Father and Quentin James. Farther than Quentin James. Yes, dude, farther than you. I was further that way than you when it comes to Helix as far as not wanting to try that kind of stuff. And I'm very happy that I went that route. Let me see. What can we do with another one for it's fun? What can I do? All right, we can try this one. We can try Freaking Out. I don't play this one live too often here. And I do have to tune back up for this one. So just so what you guys are hearing, to give you an example. Okay, so now you're hearing Coffee Drinkers 5150, or the Van Halen Wet Dry Wet Patch, but strictly with no real amplifier in the middle. And this one's oversaturated, so what you're hearing, and it's not his fault. It's my adjustments I've made to his patch. I don't want to have people think his patch isn't any good because I've changed some of the things, but I did it purposely for this case scenario where I'm using a real amp as well. So it's a little thick right now. Okay, but when you're putting in the 5150 in the middle. Sounds pretty nice, right? Okay, so let's try Freaking Out. Okay, wish me luck. I don't play this one a lot. Oh, and before I do that, Olympus Video says, hey, Eric, have you ever tried the ISP Theta Pro? No, I have not. Actually, I wanted to get one when I had Michael Sweet on the show some time ago last year. I was going to get one sent to me for a trial and then send it back, and I haven't arranged that yet. I'm still trying to get one of those for sure, so I would like to try that. And the Coffee Drinker has a very good piece of advice. The key to having a good set, having a good set of monitors if you want to play only digital, and I agree 100%. Which I do have tremendous monitors. I've just recently got the PreSonus Ares E8s. They're humongous. You would think an 8-inch monitor might not be that big, but it's a big monitor. And I've just done a video on those things, so I'm going to get them up on the channel soon too. And that helps tremendously. Sitting here in the command center and hearing the just beautiful tone sounds great. So let's try this song called Freaking Out. Okay, let's mute that microphone. Okay, I got to go back. I missed a bunch of comments. So yeah, we were back at the talking about the Theta Pro, and Coffee Drinker says he's had the ISP and Helix, kept the Helix, and he also says I'm a huge fanboy of Striper, but I couldn't get the same functionality of the ISP versus the Helix. Yeah, it's two different animals for sure. They're definitely not, apples to apples. I'm sure it's a phenomenal unit. I'd love to try it, and I will try it. Burloff says loving the Wolfgang. Thank you. Me too. This is a dear guitar to me. It's been through everything with me, everything. And it's a very special guitar, and it's going to be played a lot more here on the show. Jack Shea Martin says, Eric, just finished my Frankenstein replica I sent to you on Instagram. Okay, when my phone's charging right now, but as soon as I'm off the show, I will check that out. I can't wait to see. I love that guitar. The sound is awesome. That's from Painkiller. And Rick Hefner says, time for us to save and upgrade my multi-effects pedal. I've been using my Digitech RP355 for too long. I've used Digitech a lot of years as well too. A lot of RP units. I'd be lying if I said anything bad about them because I owned many of them and they're great. Rick Hefner, wow, incredible. Thank you. I appreciate that. No Profit, I think it is, 66. First time on your site, played guitar for 30 plus years, and you're cool beans. Big loves, bruv. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm very happy to have you here as a new visitor. And trust me, and a lot of people will tell you in the chat here, they were all new visitors here at one time. I work very, very hard to keep you here. It's hard enough getting you here, by accidental discovery. So once I get you here, I will work hard to keep you, and I hope I entertain, and I will do my best. Thank you. Happy to have you. Thomas McBee says, nice playing, my friend. Blimpus Videos. Is the singer the one that's on 5210? No. We had about three main singers in the band, and then there's some other ones intertwined. That singer there was the founder of the band. His name's Todd, and him and I, he left the band, came back into the band. I left the band at one time, came back in, and we had part of a revolving door of singers and eventually drummers and things like that. It almost became Spinal Tap. But Todd and I had the best relationship probably of all the eras of the band, and he lives close to me, very close, and he said yes to this. He's going to come over here sometime soon, probably have a beer to relax or something like that, and we're going to actually do a live jam, and he's got a great voice. He's a great songwriter. He's probably one of the best songwriters I've ever worked with in my life. He's just, the guy screams melody. So that was Todd. I'm going to play another one. Probably, actually, I won't be playing any of the newest of the three singers because when we had the newest singer, he had an incredible range, and all of our tunes were tuned up to 440, and this guitar is not tuned to that. I'd love to play one of those, but if I had the Variax plugged in, I would do that, but I can't. So that's a long answer to Blimpus's question. Kurt says, I like Steve from Boston's tone with TH3, but this tone is not only warm but fat and huge. Thank you. I'm very happy to share this patch, and Brian Cazzell and I have been working on this together, and we're going to probably compare some notes. He's actually more knowledgeable about this patch than I am because he wrote it. I just kind of changed some amps, and then I went with a dry patch to go to a dry path to go to the 5150. And if I wasn't going to use that, so let's say I was in a hotel room tonight and I really wanted that sound, what I would do is on the secondary path, I would just put in another amp like a PV Panama or a Placator or a fully blown, overdriven Marshall, maybe stick a tube screamer in front of it. I could get that almost exact same sound without using the amplifier as well. I just wanted some air hit me in the back, and you get to hear what it sounds like tonight. Jeff Alexander says, hey, Eric, really happy to have you here, Jeff. It's really cool. Kurt Singer says, is there any other processing going on other than Helix? We are hearing direct. Sorry if I missed it. Very good question. So what you're hearing, let's give you exactly that. So zero processing to the 5150. I'm going to mute the Helix. Okay. And I'm going to give you just strictly 5150 back there. So this is strictly the EVH 5150 100 watt amplifier on the blue channel, gain at what? Pretty high. And anyone knows that I'm going to actually get some 5150 shirts that says dime your mids. Every single 5150 amplifier I have, the mids are dimed. Try it and you'll love it. Dime your mids. Turn it full blast. Take the knob off and hide it in a drawer because you'll never need it again. There is a 5150. So there's nothing going on, and then you bring in the Helix. Fun stuff. It's fun stuff. You're welcome, Kurt Singer. Very, very cool. You know, when I think of PV and what was the PV Wolfgang? Yeah, I know what you think of the PV. You love it. You've got some beautiful PV Wolfgangs. Very, very, very nice. Very nice. All right, so we're gonna try. What was I gonna try? And you notice how if I'm backing up my volume? Okay, we're gonna play Loaded Gun. Let's try that one. It's a fun one. Oh, okay, video lag. Oh, no, it's not good. I hope it's not lagging. Check 1 2 1 2. We should be good. Hearing other things you've already previously recorded, not hearing what you've done live. Yeah, no problem, buddy. So let me know if the lagging picks up. Hopefully it's not a problem. Here we go. right, so apparently we've got major lag. I have dropped a couple frames, so this actually never usually happens to me as far as drop frames here. Very, very strange. So we may have to actually conclude the broadcast here. That was a good jam, and I do appreciate some people actually joining in late, so that unfortunately they're getting the bad tail end of it. So yeah, we still have some bad lag. It's a bummer. So listen, I just want to thank you all for tuning in for this impromptu broadcast. Take a look at line6.com. Go take a look at some of the Helix family of products. There's the Helix floor, which I'm using tonight. I've got the Helix rack back there. And then the HX Effects. They also make the Helix LT, which is kind of a slightly simplified version of the Helix. Just missing the scribble strips, that's it. And a few sends and returns, a little bit trimmed down that way, but the effects are still 100% the same. Expression pedal, same thing as well. And yeah, we have a 10-second lag, Quentin is saying. That's not good at all. Well, all right, we will wrap it up here, and I'll trim this video after the fact. So everyone, thank you so much, and thanks for your patience. This is a rarity tonight as well, too. And I didn't reboot my computer before going live, and that's always something I always try to practice what I preach. What I peach. I need a peach. I could eat a peach right now. Awesome, Dan. Well, hey, so sorry you're catching the bad end of the broadcast, Dan. There's a delay. Good one, Quentin. Burloff, though, says sounds great. Everyone, thank you so much, and go back and watch the very beginning. Kurt Singer says, thanks, Eric. I sold my Fractal Axe 8, and I'm not sure when I'm going to jump back into a board, but I will consider the Helix for sure because of your awesome videos. That's awesome. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate that. Quentin says, sounds good. We'll see you real soon. I'm back again on Sunday. As far as I know, I'm taking Friday night off with the EVH and Gear TV show. I'm back on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I had to double check the time for a second with Jason Sedites. Jason Sedites is a monster player, and he knows Helix inside and out. It's going to be a really good show. 1 hour, not a long one. It's nice and short and sweet, and you'll learn some really good stuff for sure from a really great guest. Everyone, thank you so very, very much. Coffee Drinker says, great job, Eric. Have a great night. We're almost to the weekend. Have a good one, everybody. Be good to one another, and we'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for your patience, and you rock. All of you. Cheers.
Thank you for watching the Helix Hour. We hope you enjoyed today's presentation. An extra special thank you to the staff at Line 6 for their continued support. If you've not yet subscribed, please do so right now and feel free to share our content with your friends. See you next time on the Helix Hour.